So it is the last day for Democrats to make opening arguments for why Trump should be impeached. And last night, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff reminded Senate Republicans how much is at stake. Watch.
If right doesn't matter, we're lost. If the truth doesn't matter, we're lost. You can't trust this president to do what's right for this country. You can trust he will do what's right for Donald Trump. This is why, if you find him guilty, you must find that he should be removed.
So is all this falling on deaf ears because GOP senators have already made up their minds? Joining us now in Hot Topics is ABC News Chief White House Correspondent, the fabulous Jon Karl. So you've been following.
Yeah.
Do you watch it constantly? I mean,
yeah, we're stuck. We're right in front of throughout all of it.
Like the senators are supposed to be.
Yes, yeah, and they're largely there. I was there in 1999 and sat in the chamber for it all. Now I'm, over from the White House. But
so what do you think are the biggest takeaways from what you've seen so far?
Look, the Democrats are making a very powerful case. They've been obviously working on this for a long time. I think what's been really striking is the way they have used Donald Trump's own words against him. It's one of the most effective moments in these presentations are hearing from the president himself saying he wants the Ukrainians to go and investigate.
In a way that, and I was thinking of that yesterday. I was thinking, does that nullify the need for witnesses? He's the witness.
I mean, he's the witness, and they've
he's in the chair.
And they've also they played Christopher Wray being interviewed by Pierre Thomas, making a point about this conspiracy theory regarding Ukraine and hacking into the election instead of the Russians.
They played the clip with you and Mulvaney a bunch of times.
They've played that clip 3 times already in this, which is kind of surreal. You're watching, and then suddenly you hear your own voice pop up. But that was a very important moment because you had Mick Mulvaney, who was the person that the president directed to stop the aid to Ukraine, telling me that part of the reason it was done was to try to get the Ukrainians to investigate Democrats, quid pro quo.
Yeah.
That was the get over it.
Yes, get over it. Yes.
And Vindman, I thought, was also extremely compelling when he said here in the United States, right is right.
Yeah,
right matters.
And so you had some very powerful moments during the House hearings, and they've been able to go in and take the most important ones and present them in this hearing. That said, I think that the biggest challenge that they are facing is keeping people's attention. Obviously, the senators now they're supposed to be there. And they're supposed to sit there silently, and they're not supposed to have distractions. Some get snuck in, but but also keeping the countries. So I think that 3 days of 8+ hours, it's a challenge.
I didn't find it boring. They keep saying it's boring. I don't think it was boring.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought it was pretty compelling. Everything they said was interesting. I mean, it's hard to stay there all those hours.
And I keep thinking, how many times do we watch House of Cards? Do we binge watch something for 25 hours? Well, damn it, if we can binge watch House of Cards, you can binge watch
well, the Housewives.
The impeachment. This is about a
the Housewives of Beverly Hills.
It just also seems to me odd that a senator who takes a solemn oath to pay attention to this in these somber times would be playing with, these fidget wits or whatever, as opposed to doing his or her job for the American people. It just seems to me we have farmers all over the country and cashiers and nurses and doctors that are doing their jobs for 12-hour shifts and 14-hour shifts, and they're not reading books or not paying attention to their jobs. These senators should be paying attention to every single word.
Well, the challenge for the Republicans is the president has said this is a hoax, this is a joke, it's a sham, all of that. That is a hard argument to make when you see the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presiding over the Senate, all 100 senators in attendance, and all raising their right hand and taking an oath to do impartial justice, signing their names on that book. It's a solemn, it's an important event. You may disagree, you may think the president shouldn't have been impeached or shouldn't be removed from office, but this is something that, again, has only happened 3 times in all of American history.
Well, let me ask you this. The end game here, of course, is that Democrats want to hear from first-hand witnesses, including, of course, John Bolton. 7 out of 10 Americans also want to hear from witnesses. 71% of Republicans have said they want to hear from witnesses. is. And it sounds like one of the Republican senators, though, the Democrats are trying to flip, which is Lisa Murkowski, is skeptical at best. She said something yesterday that leads us to believe that. Are Democrats any closer, do you think, to hearing from live witnesses?
Well, first of all, if Lisa Murkowski is not going to be in favor of witnesses, there will not be witnesses. And even if she comes around, there may not be witnesses. I think the Democrats are no closer. I think that ultimately there will not be witnesses. And I think that one of the reasons for that is that if they vote to have witnesses, first of all, it's staggered votes. The first vote is to have a deposition. And then only after the deposition do they vote to have a live witness in the trial. But there will be appeals. The White House has made it absolutely clear that will go to court, citing executive privilege to try to block those witnesses. So it would delay the trial for a long time.
Shouldn't Trump want those witnesses to exonerate him? He says he's innocent.
Well, he has said that many times, and he has said it to me. I mean, he has said...
Guilty people don't want witnesses.
He has said he would love to see Mike Pompeo. He doesn't ever say he'd love to see John Bolton, but he has said he'd love to see Mick Mulvaney and Mike Pompeo.
Well, Mulvaney already turned him in on the air. We saw that. And Pompeo was his puppet, so big deal. I want to hear from Bolton.
Yeah. Well, and Bolton's going to talk. You know, Bolton's got a book coming out, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm told it's largely done. And we don't...
I hope he comes on this show.
Yeah.
Which is a question. I mean, why can't he just do an interview? I mean, if they don't want him to testify, why can't Bolton give you an interview?
I mean, my sense is this is somebody who really wants to talk. And he's almost, when he came out, he was unprompted when he said, if I'm subpoenaed, I will go and testify.
Yeah. You don't think he would lie, do you? You think he would tell the truth?
I don't think he would lie. No.
See, I disagree with you in terms of the executive privilege. I think that the Supreme Court has already found that, during the Nixon time, that someone will have to testify that executive privilege doesn't really work in this context, and they found that in 16 days.
So you think it could happen quickly?
Yeah, I do.